Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 33 of Red Dirt and Stardust, a Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition Western and pirate science fantasy campaign. So, where last we left off, the group had left the judge's quarters in the courthouse and made their way over to the Garden District. When they made their way through, they were ambushed by some shambling mounds and successfully fought them off. They ended up taking a slightly different route through the market district and found themselves face to face with a horrific undead giant and a strange, slightly blue, bald handler. Upon defeating the giant, it exploded into horrible, dog-like rats whose skin could bend magic in some way, shape, or form. Upon successfully defeating all of them, they decided that the pelts were valuable and have skinned quite a few of the horrible rat creatures. And this is literally where we begin as you all stuff the last rat pelt into somebody's bag of holding. I will let you all bicker about whose bag is now going to have the rat skin stuffed inside of it. So
well, they're certainly not going in mine.
Right
now.
You know what? I've dealt with worse things in the woods, so I'll take them.
I'm sure you have. Not exactly my cup of tea. But at any rate, if we're done with all that grisly nonsense.
I'm not gonna lie, the accent really threw me off my game. I was not expecting it.
Guinevere's accent, yeah.
Oh, wait, hang on.
Guinevere's accent is so fucking strong.
I've been gone for a few weeks, y'all.
Yeah.
Totally missed when we did You Awaken in a Strange Place. I was a German scientist.
Oh yeah.
Good.
Herr Doctor.
All right, so Chauncey, happy with that many rats? I think there's still a few lying around, but I think I'm all done skinning rats for now.
I mean, if no one wants to skin, you didn't have to skin rats.
Well, everyone was skinning rats. I wasn't gonna be the only guy not skinning rats.
I think it's more than enough rats.
That guy. Gal.
We should probably get out of here before something else tries to kill us.
That'd be good.
Wait, where's Virgil?
Oh yeah, he's still tied up on the stretcher.
On
You all
stretcher
dropped
somewhere.
the stretcher at the entrance to this little square. You all just tossed him to the side and started fighting as he was just screaming through the gag in the background.
Tell me there's no crying on him.
Oh, hush up. The bad part's over.
All right, someone help me pick him up.
I think we had Lovey May on stretcher duty as well,
Yeah,
and she gets
yeah,
the other
Lovey
side
May.
of the stretcher.
All right.
You gotta love loving May.
All right. Loud mouth.
Right. So you
So it's hard to tell if you're
Way
talking to your dog.
downward and onward. What?
Or it's hard to tell if you're talking to your dog or if you're talking to Virgil.
No, so I mean, yes. Both. There you go. Yeah,
Sure.
for sure.
Where are we gonna run off to now? Back to the boat or something?
Towards the boat, which we
Yeah.
think is that direction, but we don't really know.
Great.
I'm not able to turn into a flying animal yet.
Does anybody have locate object?
Doesn't your cloak explicitly let you turn into a
I was
flying
gonna say,
animal?
don't you literally turn...
Oh, wait, yeah.
Yeah, the
got
only
one.
problem is that the owl would not be able to carry you all. The owl would be
Well,
able to carry one person
just
on the
to
back
know
and
fly
one person
up.
in the claws.
Yeah.
It could scout, but we have a tressum and
I
the
was gonna
tail.
say, Faux can do
Oh.
that, yeah.
Oh, where's Mopa?
Where's Faux I guess I'll say Faux pas.
It's like Phineas and Ferb.
Oh my
my
god.
There's a separate adventure about
What-
faux
what was-
pas wearing a
what-
fedora going on in the background.
I have so many ideas
Oh my
for
God.
my D&D one shot
Premise?
now.
Oh, let's
Mopa,
go.
the Tremis? Or the whatever it's called.
Tressum.
Tressum.
I love it.
So yeah, you send Faux Pas up into the air. And I guess you can roll a perception check.
Faux pas. Oh, nice. Actually, faux pas is +5 perception.
Yeah, faux pas is pretty perceptive.
Oh, 9.
Oh.
Not today, she isn't.
Dot,
Faux
dot,
pas flies
nerd.
up into the air, and as faux pas is kind of searching around for things, several of these shadowy dragon
Fucking, I
creatures
knew it.
give out a cry and begin to fly directly towards faux pas, who chickens out and flies down amongst the buildings, easily
Scaredy
losing
cat.
them as you
Oh, thank
watch them
God.
slam into the roofs trying to get to faux pas. Before about 5 seconds later, faux pas just comes around the corner of one of the buildings and trots back, terrified.
Okay, so that was not a great idea. I'll just pick up faux pas. Like, any other ideas?
We could just retrace our steps.
That's what we were trying to do, and we ended up here. So,
In the rat
Um,
thing.
yeah.
Knee high in rats.
All a bit where there was spider running around and lots.
Wasn't
lots
that me?
Yeah, that's sort of what I meant. It wasn't the cleanest ingress, I'll say that.
Do.
I mean,
Well, personally, I vote we just start walking. I mean,
yeah.
we'll hit the coast eventually.
Yeah, let's just walk the way we
Further-
didn't come from, and we'll eventually hit something.
Yeah, I mean, we came from the outer edge of the city, so if worst case scenario, we leave the more dangerous inner parts and circle around until we find the right ledge to jump off of.
I forget, is the
Definitely
boat
rather-
on actual water or is it like on some magical surface?
I mean,
So the last time the boat had run itself aground on the sort of pebbly shore that's like half a mile wide, they were probably working on getting the boat ungrounded.
when I got picked
Um,
up by a fucking
Oh yeah, rugby tackled by one of these shadow dragon
Love
things.
that.
Let's see. I was on my wrong character, so 1 second.
Hey,
Yeah,
that's how I
I
started.
noticed.
Oh, I also have fly and have a passive of 18. So
You
And
wanna go
if
play
we're
with the
scared of
dragons?
dragons, Jedidiah will
yeah.
tap you and cast invisibility on you.
There we go.
Can I do
Okay.
there we go.
ability on Guinevere?
If,
What are we doing?
I feel like if dragons attack and I can fly at them, that might be helpful too, if it happens.
So
Oh wait, I
Well,
have
Jed
something
also
else.
cast invisibility, so Guinevere is invisible.
all
As
right.
long as you
I'll
cast
use
fly
my-
first, then so that the fly
Yeah.
doesn't break the invisibility.
I'll
Wait, are
use
there
my
any plants nearby?
once a day fly?
No, you've left the garden district.
Oh, wait. Oh, you want to use fly to scout? I was saying if we got attacked and somebody got carried off by one, I could fly after it then.
Oh
Yes.
no, I was thinking just to see where the ship is at. Like,
All
see
right,
if I can
Chauncey,
see
you're
it.
the backup plan. Guinevere, get up there.
Can I send Talipo with her to use the help action?
Sure.
Sure.
So that means your perception check is at advantage.
And you're about 80 years my junior. I'd be careful who you're giving orders to. I'll do it because I choose to.
Right. All right. Up. Let's do it.
Wait, how does that work?
From halfway out, she just, what did I say?
Just from somewhere in the ether.
Yeah, you're right.
Disembodied voice.
All right. Do you want me to roll for it, or is Pat?
Yeah, roll with advantage because you are actively looking.
Okay.
Passive is just like I'm having a drink at the bar and I
Like,
notice
noted.
something weird, as opposed to I'm actively looking, therefore I can,
Okay. Rolling with advantage. That's a 27.
All right. So you manage to fly up and evade notice from these horrible shrieking, shadowy dragon things of some variety. And you notice the ship is now no longer on the gravel. You actually see a line through the pebbles that they've dragged the ship back. They've managed to move the ship into the sort of empty space where the water would be, and it is kind of floating there, ready to take off once you all get there.
Oh, cool. Okay, so I guess Guinevere will then, head back down and something like it seems the crew have pulled it back out away from the shore, but I think it's that way, and she'll just press the digitation like a little arrow on a rock or something,
Mhm. Yep. All right. So you all begin to head off in that direction, kind of ducking and weaving
we'll quick
through.
snap and get rid of that, just so I don't leave the trace.
Journey montage.
Yep. So you all are going to make
Making
your
my
way
way
across
down,
the
face. Okay, sorry.
Very true. You see a piano hurtling down the street. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Oh, Vanessa Carlton.
And
God.
it's basically just a mimic shaped like a piano.
Yeah, 100%.
Actually singing the song as you just watch it, making my way downtown.
Yeah.
What?
We need to get out of the Shadowfell system.
It's playing tricks
Not
on
a fan of the
us.
weather.
Alice in Wonderland had nothing on this place.
So you all make your way down to the
Town.
sort of dock areas. You don't make it to the same dock that you came up, but it is just as horribly broken and rotted and collapsed as the last section. It is about 20 feet in the air, meaning you will have to descend about 20 feet to get to the sort of pebbly shore to then walk across to get to your ship.
Okay, guys, who's ready for me to get leggy?
Yeah.
Not this again.
I'm gonna go ahead and pass, and then can I just like mold earth myself like down
The stairs.
Yeah.
Once Jed sees what you're doing, he'll also cast Molders and tag team this situation.
Yeah,
like,
you-
have
Chauncey's
fun.
Thank God.
Chauncey can literally just walk down.
Yeah.
yeah.
Chauncey has
Who
spider
is that
climb.
lady?
He's just walking down.
Except Lovey May, who's just staring over the side, just waiting
Yeah.
for some way to get
It's-
down.
It's a 20 foot. I'm gonna have Lovey May pick what's his face? Virgil. Lovey May's like
Oh,
bridle
yeah.
carrying Virgil, and she's just hopping over the side. It's fine.
Yeah,
I love
lands
that.
on the doesn't
She'll take the
do
falling
like a
damage.
superhero landing, but she just
Yeah.
lands on the ground. And yeah, you manage to, over the course of maybe like 30 seconds to a minute, mold up a staircase for you all to walk down.
Yeah. Cantrips for the win.
Yeah. Love a good utility cantrip.
Oh yeah.
Yep, so you make it down to the sort of rocky shore, and you begin the about half-mile walk to the ship, as you can see the ship sort of bobbing. And once again, you are still stepping over bones and these sorts of small river stones. You see the horrible carrion crawlers just laying there, somehow fat off of some kind of corpse.
Yep.
Can't quite tell which one, but fat and happy, rolled over.
God, can you imagine the smell of this place?
It doesn't smell great.
Ugh.
It more of smells old and musty rather than like horrible and gory. It just smells rather old and musty. As you begin to make your way across this sort of beach until you do finally get to the ship, where a few of the shipmates are waiting with a rowboat ready to take you over to the ship itself.
All right, sounds good to me.
Finally.
If you're ready to get out of here, clap your hands.
Everybody claps.
Yes. That.
So yeah, you all get in the rowboat and they slowly row back out to the ship.
They have no questions about the bound and gagged man that we're drinking along with
No,
us.
none.
After all of the shit that they've went through, like they've, what, 5 days ago had to basically gentle repose their friend that was killed by the intellect snare things from the
I mean, that's
sands.
also not to mention Guinevere's an entirely different.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We get like a look. We're like, a lot happened. All right. Like,
They just kind of nod silently, like kind of a little afraid of you, of like, oh, what are these people up to? We're
Well, it
used to
stays in the
smuggling
Shadowfell,
emeralds and
stays in the
clam shells, and
Shadowfell.
I mean, the first thing they saw after we got here was us walk 20 feet away from the ship and then me get picked up by a shadow dragon. So
just rugby tackled to the ground and carried off.
Literally.
They're not interested in questioning what you all are doing anywhere. They're done asking questions. They just want to go home.
I'm surprised they didn't just assume we were dead.
Yeah, they row you back, and waiting at the sort of ladder to get you all up is Leonidas the Triton and Toshiko with her little lamp, Oki, that kind of very excitedly waves its tassel at you as you all get closer.
Hi, Oki.
Adorable.
You all climb up onto the boat. All right. Well, it looks like we have a new guest. Where are we sticking him?
I say we stick him under Jed's bed.
Yeah, I think that's definitely more his problem.
yeah, I think that's.
Looks like you're bunking with me, Virgil.
Just still gagged and bound and writhing.
I'll untie you in a second.
Can I just bash him over the head into unconsciousness?
Jeez.
No,
Good Lord.
And one guy take in a day. I mean, like, we were trying to kill him. Fuck.
Yeah, I think he doesn't have a lot of life points right now.
No, I'm
Probably
pretty sure he's
not.
actually pretty damaged.
Yeah, he was
All
doing,
right,
he was literally doing death saves like a few hours ago. So.
Very true.
Okay, can I just hold his nose?
I could maybe cast sleep.
Yeah, that would help.
There we go.
A little more gentle.
All right.
Yeah, you wave your hand and cast sleep. You're probably going to roll over his hit points. Although,
yeah. Where the fuck is the thing?
He technically does. He does have a stat block. So let me check.
Okay. Well, I'm rolling 78 because I'm using a level 2 pact slot.
Oh, right, because Warlock.
Yeah. 7. That gives me 31 to work with.
Yep, that'll do it.
All right.
He falls asleep, and he is asleep for a minute.
That would almost put me to
For
sleep.
just a
So.
minute?
Well, that's how long the spell sleep lasts. It doesn't last
It's-
that long.
It's always either violence or beasts with you. It's one of the two. That's the only thing.
I have a lot of unresolved issues.
Can we? I'm gonna look at the captain and be like, "Can we? Or no, is the captain with us, or is he somewhere
Yeah.
else?"
Yes, he is with you.
Yeah, I'm
He's
just saying,
Leonidas. The captain is Leonidas.
could we maybe make haste before something else
Yeah.
rises from the sea or flies down and
As you hear a horrible banshee-like shriek from the sky. Yep, we should probably haul off right now. All right, haul off.
And
So
I think
tired.
that's my key.
And then all the sailors just start running around, pulling rigging, and you all do. The boat slowly begins to turn in port and takes off. As you all go back out of the horrible storm cloud whirling around this place, you do see shadows flying, winged, following close behind. You hear the shrieks of these horrible creatures, but eventually you find yourselves back out in the dull, almost black and white, colorless void of the Shadowfell. And back, floating around the edge of this horrible, stormy cloud that houses the demiplane that houses Ashenhold. And you have successfully escaped.
Thank the gods.
And at this
Amen.
point, Toshiko kind of, well, it is going to be about a day before we make it to where we think the sort of chunk of Isgard is going to be. So it shouldn't be too long, but depending on where it's moved and where the orbits are going, it might be a bit hard to track down, but it should not be very long.
How much longer do we have to stay on this fucking boat?
Oh no,
It's-
not you.
Oh God, Val.
Avatar.
Well, hopefully it will not be too much longer. If the sailor stories are true, then the route of Yggdrasil will take us directly to back to Ponderosa, and we will not need to backtrack.
I don't know about any of this egg salad business, but sounds like I got pulled in for the boring part.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
could have
we're-
really used you earlier on.
Guinevere did great. Actually, Aiden did better. So
That's what's up. He really did actually fuck some shit up. So
Very true. Yeah. So the day or so, it's unknown how long it's going to take, is yours. So is there anything that anyone would like to do during that time? I know there are certain things that I will need to do unto your characters. But there are other things that I'm sure you all would like to do on your own for your own project. So if anyone has those, this is your time.
I think Velantrios is going. Do we have separate rooms, right? Or do we all
Nope,
share?
it's all the same room.
Okay,
It's just the
so
long
except for
room with all the
Velantrios-
hammocks.
Yeah, Velantrios is going back to his potted plant, and he's just going to start taking care of it again.
I forgot about that thing.
Oh yeah. So it seems like none of the sailors watered it while you were gone for several days. So some of the leaves are kind of a little brown and curled up, and it should have grown a little bit more than it did, but with enough water and actual care and stuff like that, it'll probably grow again until it reaches maturity and the pot of awakening bursts off of it, and you have a rose friend. Rosie 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Funny enough, that's actually what I did at work.
the electric
Hmm.
boogaloo.
No,
Oh.
you nicked
I was
the-
like, which part of that? Like,
taking care of the rose plants.
oh,
Mhm.
not gonna lie, I definitely thought it was the electric boogaloo. Never mind.
Seems like a lot of fun.
So
I
you're Valakar's probably spending his time like drinking and getting in arguments with the crew about who's stronger, more than likely. You know, dumb macho shit like that.
Yeah, I think you would.
Practicing with his axe or something in the lower decks.
Yeah, definitely some axe practice. I would say. I would say it wouldn't take very much to intimidate the actual crew themselves.
Not with a
It's-
11.
what?
I said not with a plus 11.
Jesus
Jesus
Christ!
What, reliable talent or something, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
What
My
the
God.
fuck?
Okay.
Oh my god.
Expertise, baby.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. You should have seen the other character I built. I did a bard rogue, so I had expertise in 4 skills.
Ooh,
Christ.
yikes. Okay. Other projects for other people.
Well,
Uh-huh.
if no
Yeah.
one has anything to say, and I don't know how much talking you guys have done with Virgil so far.
Like none. They literally kept him gagged except to
Excellent.
feed
Yep.
him
Chauncey-
soup.
Chauncey gagged him with a dirty sock.
Oh no.
Just,
Yeah. And
Just for-
outside of that, we pretty much were like, yeah, that's Jed's bag.
just for old
Yeah,
times.
Jed's gonna take care of his bag, I think.
I don't know why
I-
we all just blindly accepted whatever horrible thing you were planning to do to this guy, but we definitely did.
Yeah.
I think with some time, Jed sticks Virgil in the bedroom for a while, and then Jed kind of paces around the boat, and he seems angry.
Mhm.
And like, I mean, Jed's made a lot of progress in the past few weeks with these boys. He's become a bit more positive, and
Mhm.
but I think you're definitely watching a bit of a return to form for him. You're watching. Jed's got a lot of plans that he needs to make happen, and Virgil's a very important part of those plans.
Mhm.
So after he has some time to think, or I think especially Chauncey might be able to tell, he has a lot of thoughts thinking about how he's going to handle Virgil, and one of them is, do I need to kill this guy?
Then what was the point of me holding back?
But eventually, once I definitely want the bedroom to be empty of everyone except for Virgil.
I'm sort of there.
Well, wait, you have a hidey hole somewhere that you could take Virgil.
I could.
Yeah, you have the below decks that people tend to not go to after seeing
Because you're
things
terrifying.
down there.
Yeah.
All right, actually, I thought of a better way. Jed, his eyes flicker yellow, and then he goes below deck into his dark crevice of a hidey hole, and the shadows lengthen and it gets all spooky, and he summons his shadow spawn, and Jedidiah is going to stay in the hidey hole, and he's going to send the shadow spawn to go get Virgil and bring him there.
Right. Okay. Yeah, you watch.
I hate that.
Some of you might see this as you see coming up from below decks, this angel covered in this sort of black ichor with like these torn up wings that you've seen before, just walks into the bedroom, picks up Virgil, I'm assuming he's still tied up and gagged at this point.
Probably screaming his head off.
Yeah, probably screaming through the sock as he's dragged down into the hole.
You're just in there taking care of a rose bush, watching all of this happen.
Anybody
And,
around, like,
Velantrios is just singing "Painting the Roses Red."
God.
Yeah.
I think I've magic mouthed a few times around where I am, and they're all just like whispering hauntingly. Like...
All right, so yep, you
I-
take him down to your horrible haunted lair as your shadow spawn kind of drops him onto the floor as he's kind of writhing, trying to get away from it.
And Jedidiah is just standing there with his back to Virgil, and minor illusions are all going around crazy. The horns are longer, snake tongue pops out. It's all the theater of it, you know.
Mhm.
You're doing all this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
You're holding out on us.
Harry.
Jedidiah is a dramatic bitch, all right?
If you hadn't gathered,
Yeah, no
like,
shit.
He has an aesthetic that he's going for.
Very true.
Right? And I turn around, and while he's still bound and gagged, you know, Virgil, I thought we had a good thing going. I really did. So I guess the one thing I have to say to you is, do you think I'm a fucking joke? What
He's
the
just like
fuck
staring,
happened,
terrified.
Virgil? You had one job, stay the fuck out of trouble, and you managed to screw it up. I just right now, I just want to know how, and then like always, I'll clean up your mess for you, and you can't quite yet go running home to daddy. No, I need you here. But once I'm done with you, I'll send you home if I'm feeling benevolent. So
He's definitely tearing up at this point as he's just like kind of shaking his head.
yeah, the shadow spawn is just like right over his shoulder, all creepy, and I kneel down right in front of him, like, all I want to know right now is how you managed to screw things up so bad. I pull the gag out of his mouth.
I don't know. I was having fun gambling, and then I couldn't pay the debts back, and I got
Yeah,
arrested.
but okay, shush. How did you manage to have anything to do with a tier of person like Corrigan, like it's the red bandana,
The red
right?
bandana.
The red bandana. That weird snake guy, I don't know what his deal was, honestly. But you're not. What the fuck did you do to get with them?
Yeah.
They offered a deal if we went and we got this for a Corrigan's something alpha project. They'd let us all go. They'd shorten our sentence. They'd let us all go. They'd take it off our record. I just wanted some people for it, and I volunteered because I didn't want to stay there. I'm not built for prison.
I know you're not built for prison, Virgil. You're really not built for much of anything. I really am. You really put me in between a rock and a hard place here, Virgil. I had a really good thing going. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for your sorry ass getting dragged off to the Shadowfell system. I'd still be back in Drake's Ridge. But you just have it's your gift. Honestly, is ruining things.
Damn.
But I can make it right. I can. I know. I've already. I mean, gone the way out there and saved your ass. So there's one thing. But now the question is, what do I do with you now? Can you help me with that? What's your take? The shadows grow longer, the tongue flickers out, I want my shadow spawn like grab his shoulders. Like,
Yeah, at that point he's like, I don't know. I don't know. I just
because I can't let
wanna
you
go
go home.
home.
I can't. You know that's not an option, Virgil.
Um, um,
So you need to recognize what your options are, and one of them I think you don't want. So I need you to work with me here. Where can you go where it's better than option number 2? And the shadow spawn like grips around his neck.
I don't know. I don't really have a lot of places left to go.
No one, nowhere. You were gambling, pirating, doing whatever the hell. No, you didn't make a single connection there you can fall back on right now.
No.
Mm,
I made a lot of bad bets.
that tracks. Right. Well, you're certainly not making my job easy, Virgil.
No.
I hope you get cozy in that little cot, because I don't think you're gonna be going anywhere else for a little while I figure out if there's anything else I can do for you. Because it's really in your best interest for me to find something I can do for you, Virgil.
Real quick, since we did say Valakar was down in the belly of the ship somewhere practicing axe, he's probably heard like a lot of what's going on.
I'm not being quiet, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I
Maybe
imagine
just, like-
we're all like.
They walk into a random sailor walks into the galley and everyone's on the
Yes.
floor with a with a cup.
Valakar
Just
probably,
listening.
I don't know, like sneaks out from behind a beam or something. He's just like patting his axe in his hand, like, I don't know, I guess we could always just kill him.
Just like a metallic glint in a corner as Talipo walks between.
Metallic meow thing.
Also, Virgil doesn't really know anything about Jed's plan, by the way. All Virgil knows is that Jedidiah was his best friend and helped him escape a life in the church. And...
Yes.
That I know Jed's plan. Like,
Yeah. I don't really have any other place to go aside from home.
Well, I stay near him and kind of tap him on the head. You keep brainstorming, because we've only got a few days till we get back to port, and well, I need somewhere to send you by then. Or my friend Valakar can have a little fun.
just let me have a couple fingers. That's
Oh my god.
No, I'd like to keep my fingers.
Thoughts. Do you promise to behave while you're on the ship?
Yeah.
Do I? No, I mean, Virgil was gone for a few years from my knowledge of what he was doing, but
Yeah.
I don't think he's magic, right?
He might know like a spell or two because he was growing up in the church. His father, being in like an archdeacon or whatever we decided he was, probably taught him like a cantrip or two. Well, actually, I had the priest stat block for him. So he can cast a few spells up to like spirit guardians, but nothing beyond that. And you have his hands bound, so it's not like he could cast it anyway. And so like he is a little magical, but you probably have more spells than he does.
Yeah. All right, well. I'm going to be watching you like a hawk, Virgil, so don't think about trying anything silly. I know whatever little tricks your dad taught you might have been impressive when we were kids, but I promise you. And then like once again the shadows like flare around him, the shadow spawn grows taller. Like, I promise you, I have grown much stronger than you could ever dream.
He's just letting it swing right now.
Can I ask a question?
no.
What is it, Virgil?
Do you know someone named Birdie?
The fuck?
Why do you ask, Virgil?
When I was out there in the Shadowfell, I kept getting sending spells from someone. I didn't know who was sending them, but they were saying that Birdie didn't want to come back home and that she's growing feathers and she's staying with someone named Dez.
Oh, great. Okay. Awesome.
Whoever it is that send the send spells really wants you to come home.
And what did you say back, Virgil?
I didn't say anything. I was too scared. I didn't know who was sending them. I didn't know where they were coming from. I just started hearing them and I just didn't respond.
Good boy, good. If you get any more of those, tell me immediately. And you are not to say a single thing back without my knowledge.
And he kind of nods and looks down.
All right. You can take him back to his bed now. I say to the shadow spawn.
And he just picks up Virgil and just takes him back upstairs.
And right as they get to the end of the hallway, the shadow spawn, because I can command it like with my mind, so
Yeah.
the shadow spawn like stops, and and please do your best to think about where I can send you, Virgil. I don't want to have to kill you.
And he kind of just looks down and just silently, just tears begin pouring down his face as the shadow spawn then just continues going towards the bedroom. And I'm assuming you dump him somewhere in the bedroom.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
I just like my shadow spawn lasts for an hour, so I can't like permanently have it up, but I will probably a few at strange points in the day be summoning it and just having it like shadow Virgil or just to make sure he's not doing anything stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then Jed is just like seething. Like,
Yeah. I'm not surprised.
yeah. All of his anger and reasons for the bullshit that he's doing are just in the front of his head burning. Like my one of my favorite quotes that I think about all the time is from Adventure Time, where Finn says, "Ooh, my mind hand touched a hot memory stove." and, and
Such a
Jed is
great
just
quote.
like laying down on the hot memory stove in his head.
Yeah, not surprised.
Yeah, and that's where Jed just stays in the darkness down there, communing with Mazarandael, blah blah, doing all the creepy warlock shit.
Yeah. I will say at this point, while you're trying to commune with Mazarendael, you do get a connection.
Oh,
It does connect with Mazarendael. And once again, you kind of find yourself closing your eyes for a moment before opening them in the same chamber as before. The same chamber you see in your dreams. The sweat pouring down your face as the heat washes over you. And you see Mazarendael with his tattered and torn up wings, chained to the dais. Well, it seems we have a bit of an issue.
I'm handling it.
I can see that. But how long is this going to take? Someone's going to figure things out eventually.
I won't let that happen.
Yes. But perhaps it would be easier to simply eliminate the piece from the board.
I'm strongly considering that possibility.
Well, I'm also strongly considering that being that little favor that I still have to call in for giving you those precious memories back.
Well,
Dun, dun, dun.
I didn't realize you were so invested in my plots.
Well, I can't have my warlocks getting arrested and killed all the time. That isn't exactly conducive to, and he kind of rattles the chains a little bit. Getting free, now does it? Having to get and train a new person every few years, only to watch them fail again and again.
That definitely ticks Jed off a little bit. Like my dad?
Well, in certain ways. But I'm sure you'll do better.
Just out of morbid curiosity, what happens if I say no?
Well, I'll stop giving you your gifts. These things that'll help you along the way that you've been relying on. I won't talk to you anymore. And if my sister comes along with her angelic army, perhaps your name will slip out. I'm sure she'll be pleased to tie up loose ends.
Well, you make a compelling offer.
So, I guess I will be calling it in then. Make sure he doesn't get back to Ponderosa.
See what I can do.
Good. And once again, you kind of wake up in a cold sweat, once again, from a nap, kind of a little dizzy and woozy. In the dark.
Yeah. Jed is just fuming, just angry at the world, at Virgil, at Mazarandael, at everyone. He's definitely feeling back in the old days, especially after Chauncey and him no longer saw each other. Like, the only person they can rely on is yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I stay down there for a long time.
All right. Does anybody else have anything else that they would like to do?
Spritz.
Don't do anything.
I was
You
gonna
can-
say maybe might be a good time for Lyla to pop in, like from Valacar way back there. I don't know, something Warlock commiserate about, like, sounds like your master's giving you a rough go of it there, huh? Shame.
Right. It's definitely the first time he's given me something that I have mixed feelings about.
Oh, well, I won't bother prying into that. You know, none of my business what's going on inside of other people's heads and all that.
How do you handle the huckster?
Best I can, I suppose, unless you're looking for specifics.
Have you ever denied him?
Not a once. Never needed to, though. Is that what you're thinking about doing?
I'm on the fence.
Well, from what I know about that creature you've aligned yourself with, I don't think that's the safest decision you could make, that's for sure.
Definitely not. No. Virgil really put me in a rough spot. And I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know. I've already come this far for him. Is it really
And who
worth
the hell
ruining
is
everything
he
for
exactly?
him? What was that?
For-
Sorry.
I said, and who the hell is he exactly? I'm sorry, but why so much effort?
Some asshole from back home. God, me and Chauncey used to hate him. Still do, honestly. He never.
Used to? Yeah. Right.
He was always kind of the worst. Yeah. Just had everything going for him, you know? Super rich, powerful family. Everything he could want and more. All the love of his family and all the people in Creator's Hollow. It was never enough. Always wanted something.
I've known lots of men like that, yeah.
So, definitely made him a little easier to... He never really thinks... I guess maybe now he does. It seems like he's had a rough couple of years. But at least before, he was so naive. He'd never been hurt before. Never had anything taken away from him. He would never expect it. Why would someone try to take advantage of him when everything's always gone his way?
Can't rightly say. All I know is I don't think it really comes down to a decision about, well, not that I know what they're asking you to do anyway, but I think the more important thing is whether or not it's worth risking your safety for, I don't know, whatever
That
the fuck
is
you got
indeed
going on.
the dilemma. I have a lot that I need to make happen. And I need Mazarandale on my side to make it happen.
Well, then I suppose if I was you, I'd be doing whatever I could to secure that.
You're probably right.
I usually am.
While the two of us are pouring our hearts out and have a relative amount of privacy.
Well, this is gonna be good.
I'm sorry for poking around in your head, Lyla.
You should be.
I'm worried about you. What I saw in there seems like it's in pain.
Who told you that? Oh, sorry. Never mind. Well, yeah, it is, and that's why it stays in there.
Are you in pain?
Not right at the moment. I'm doing just peachy, and I appreciate you asking.
All right.
But that's why I keep my happy face on. It just makes things easier, you know.
Believe me, I do. I kind of like do the minor allusion to like the Virgil face. Like, it's my happy face.
Yeah. You know, I actually think I like the other one better. It's a little bit mousy.
It honestly is a little in the nose. But yeah, I still need his face. So I think I might have to follow through on Mazarandale's request.
And I take it that's got something to do with Virgil.
Yeah.
Sure, I could hazard a guess.
You probably can. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Should I maybe get Valacar back out? Or
I can probably handle it.
yeah, I figured. Well, sorry about all that, you know, pain and misery and anguish, but I guess I'll just go see what the other boys is up to.
I'm gonna stay down here for a bit.
Yeah, you are. She's just gonna like just pat him on the shoulder a little bit, do a little one of these.
I feel like Chauncey's just got, maybe he's on the deck at this point with a pile of rat furs next to him and a bucket of soapy water.
Oh my goodness.
Ew.
And there's a clothing line because like he doesn't have the mental or emotional capacity to do like work right now. And he's just it's a bit of busy work that he can do without really thinking about it. Because he's just processing like Ashenhold in general. There's like one moment where he like replays Corrigan's words in his head about how easy he was to trick, and he slightly rips one of the skins apart when he pulls it too tight, and then he's like, fuck. And there's just a clothesline of rat pelts going across one section of the deck.
Mhm.
And he's just very delicately, him and Lovey May pinning it up.
Yeah. I think at one point you watch as Toshiko kind of comes up with like a finger up and she opens her mouth and then the finger just goes back down and she just turns and walks away.
Well, honestly, I thought it was going to be a lot less grisly up here than it was down there, but now I'm actually not sure.
Hey, hi, Lyla.
Oh, yes, hello. Nice to see you again.
It's Lyla. It's been a minute.
A minute? How long has it been? Oh, well, it looks like y'all made it off that nasty island. Figure that much out.
I apologize, Lyla, but Was it anyone's decision to let Aiden out in the middle of an extremely dangerous situation, or was that all on him?
Right.
Have you ever tried to stop a 9-year-old from doing what he wants when he's got his heart set on it? It's not that easy.
He was I was worried about him, but he did prove rather valuable. But it feels morally questionable to let a 9-year-old.
Honestly, I say let him out whenever you want. That you did great. I'm proud of that kid.
Is this in the room?
On the
deck. On the deck, because
yeah.
On the deck,
Shawthorn
yeah.
spends time on the deck, and Chauncey's just got a horrible clothesline of rat pelts that he
Yeah,
is
I'm just-
cleaning there.
I'm just like singing
That
in
all the
corner,
sailors
like,
are getting
petting
giving like a
Popal.
10-foot berth to, just like around.
There was a lot of shouting down there. Is everything going all right?
Oh, I'm sure everything's gonna be just great. You don't worry about it.
Oh.
Some nonsense with Virgil. Hell, I'm probably the kindest of us all, and I can't even stand him.
Who?
Lord. Just great.
Why do we?
No.
Why do we even have still have Virgil? Is there a reason, Chauncey?
Jed needs him, or Jed needs his face for part of his plan.
Like
Most of
actually,
his
like
plan?
face or like?
There's no need for that.
I mean, we could. That would be
No.
one way to make him not recognizable.
You
Oh.
mean nonsense?
Jed?
My
Virgil's
mother
not-
is my mother's a doctor, and the
I
first
thought I
thing
meant mutilate. I'm like, why is Chauncey having that thought? Or sweet little boy. Like,
Good lord.
At this point, Velantrios is just gonna come on deck with his rose buddy. And he's like, do you mean make him unrecognizable by beating him?
I don't think that's what we're talking about. And also, hi, Velantrios.
Hi.
Because
in that situation, my little friend over here could really help. The rose bush just makes me like shuffling sound with his leaves.
Well, that's new.
I'm
Just like swaying very weirdly, like it's trying to move but can't quite.
Chauncey,
if we cut him and stitch him up in different ways, we can change the way his face looks.
okay, like
Just
we've all
break
done
the nose and
we've all done questionable things, but Chauncey, you and I've used the moral compass of this group. I don't know that. I don't know that's the best way to go about this.
Now, y'all, I think the storm's starting to
I
break.
promise. I mean, the first stitch my mother taught me as a child wasn't for to mend a piece of clothing. It was to close a wound.
Is this going to turn into
Good
like a
skill to
whole
have.
human walrus kind of situation?
We doing some
Oh.
Hannibal.
Oh, Tusk. Oh God.
oh, don't make me
Chauncey's
think
just
about
gonna be
that.
like, he's gonna pull out a sketch and it's just gonna be like Starlight from the new season of The Boys, the memes. He's like, we could make him look like this.
Oh
No.
my God.
Nope.
Oh my goodness.
Although A+ for creativity though.
It's what he deserves. The outside should match the inside sometimes.
Okay.
Is he really that bad? I mean, he's just a person.
Honestly, I'm not sure it's going to be too much of a problem entirely too long.
What I'm wondering is,
Wait, can I insight check that?
If you want to, you certainly can try. I don't know how well you're going to do against Lyla.
Absolutely horrid, I'm sure.
Isn't the lowest you can get like a 21?
20 is what I rolled, so
What am I rolling?
Deception, I guess.
Oh, sure.
Watch it be
that's
like,
21.
damn, you beat me by 1.
I got a 21.
I was like, watch you get a 60.
No idea.
I mean, to be fair, I don't really think she was trying to be. She's maybe just more trying to be polite than.
Yeah, weasel wording your way around things, and
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, that still technically falls under deception to some degree. So
Fair.
it would
And
be the check
Lyla
that
is
you would make.
Lyla is slippier than an eel in a vat of olive oil.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't even met the slipperiest one. Huh.
So then, what is our plan to do with Virgil? Are y'all just taking him with y'all forever?
He's
I
our
don't
pet
think
now.
we can show back up in Drake's Ridge with 2 Virgils. It won't work out very well.
I don't know which
mean-
one to shoot.
This is Virgil's long lost twin.
In this world,
Gerbil.
strange things happen.
Above board. Why can't
Ligiv, his brother.
why can't Chauncey just use the whole lost memory thing? We just dump him on an island.
You want to leave just some? We may as well just kill him then. At that point, it's just that's just killing with more stuff.
Also, like the lost memory thing is like his mom's bag, and it's very hyper specific memory wipe that needs vampire saliva. You know,
Yeah.
We are
It
not
just
high
makes
enough
memories.
level to cast alter memory.
Yeah.
Modify memory is not
yeah.
exactly. I don't think any of you can. I know Shaw can probably take it. Can
At some point.
at some
I don't
point.
think Jed can, no.
Lyla might be able to take it depending
I
on
was
what
gonna
level
say-
she gets in something. Like if she goes farther in Bard, she might be able to take it. But
I was just
Yeah,
saying that
Bard.
sounds like it could
Yeah.
end up on a bard list. Yeah.
Bards have some fun stuff like that. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna send Faux Pas over to grab the ripped rat skin to play with.
you know,
And no, we are not considering keeping him with us forever. Right? We're not. I mean, we're not.
he was a shitty kid, just a shit bag,
I mean,
as they say.
weren't we all though? Like who wasn't a shitty kid, you know?
I was
Velantrios.
well.
I was barely a kid, okay?
True.
So what is the whole plan?
I think right now we're just trying to find the right route.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for the time being. Is again just getting the hell out of Dodge.
Hopefully, they actually find this piece of Isgard that may or may not be there. I really don't want to go through all of those places again. Ugh.
I don't want to be here anymore.
Somewhere with sunshine, maybe a margarita.
I miss my bed. I miss my
bed.
books.
I miss. Never mind.
I miss Des.
Lila, what do you miss, Lila?
A lady doesn't kiss and tell.
She misses all of her patrons.
Well, I sure as hell made a lot more money before I started traveling with y'all. I'll say that.
What the hell else was miners going to spend their money on?
Right? I had it
In
made.
that
bro.
town, there's 2 options:
Alcohol
alcohol
and-
and Lila.
What if somebody moves in town and there's like that gives a whole new definition to a scab? I'm just saying.
Ooh. Too much. Too much.
Sorry, I'm
And
dead.
also, she is a discerning woman, okay?
Mhm.
Let's see.
I would say at this point, Leonidas would probably approach you all, and he kind of gives Chauncey's horrible clothing line of rat pelts a kind of once over and just. Well, we managed to locate at least a route. We probably be there around maybe 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. So we'll probably need to stop there and restock anyway. We probably need to find someone to help us find that route that'll take us back to Ponderosa. So that's going to be the plan for tomorrow. Make sure y'all get some sleep. I'm sure y'all need it badly.
Heavens only knows. You tell me twice. I need my beauty rest.
Great.
So,
Yeah. So
This-
unless anybody
is the
else
last
has
one.
any pressing things that they would like to do, we're probably going to head into the night to your long rest, which is not entirely uninterrupted.
Of course.
Of course.
It's
Is it
by
ever-
Virgil going.
Yeah, right.
With a gag back on him.
Just
I
being
guess
a
not.
bitch.
He's
Like
probably
this
on
time,
bed.
we won't use a dirty sock. Okay.
It's just like, shut up or I'll shove my rose buddy into your mouth.
Ooh.
Don't say that.
Uh,
I don't think you realize what you did, but
yeah.
or maybe you did based on that face.
Glossing.
But
And we're glossing. And we're
And we are moving on. So Lyla, in
Oh.
your sleep, you find yourself once again back in your bedroom of the salty spittoon, sitting once again at your vanity, as per usual, it seems, with some of the more common dreams involving the huckster, as your reflection's eyes gain the familiar red and gold complexion. Well, it seems you had quite the adventure.
Here goes having a dream. Pardon my rudeness. It's been quite the adventure, as you said, yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, I saw most of your compatriots getting a variety of interest in artifacts, and I thought that I was leaving one of my favorite servants out a little bit.
You flatter me as always.
Of course. Well, it's not going to be easy. It is going to be a bit of a hike. But somewhere in Amarillo, I would like you to find, on top of keeping an eye out for the red bandana, keep an eye out, if you manage to make it over there, for a particular goblin who frequents gambling halls and casinos that calls himself Full House. He guards the entrance to my domain.
Goblins, huh?
Well,
Full
so if you
house.
managed Full House, yeah. If you manage to find him, all you'll need to do is present him with the King of Diamonds card from a mundane deck of cards and say that you'd like to stay in the King's suite, and he'll do the rest.
Oh, King Sweet. That does sound lavish, doesn't it?
Well, of course, it won't, like I said, it won't be easy. I'll be presenting you with a few challenges, but nothing more than some fun games to play. I mean, you need a diversion from all this mess, and at the end, there'll be plenty of prizes to pick from.
You know I do love gifts.
Of course, I knew you'd be on this. So make sure if you ever make it out to Amarillo, make sure you keep your eye out for Full House.
I think I know my way around it pretty well. Shouldn't be too much trouble rooting him out with these hooligans with me.
As big of hooligans as they can be, as you say, they do seem pretty powerful. They do seem like they can be quite helpful to any of our little plans or shenanigans we may want to get up to.
On that particular note, would you care to enlighten me as to what exactly it is I'm doing with all these men anyway? I mean, usually when I'm surrounded by this many, well, you get the idea.
Well, I mean, two's a crowd, three's a party, right?
It's always been my experience, but I'm just wondering, no, you've always got some kind of trick up your sleeve. I just
Well,
haven't figured it out yet.
there's a reason that a magician always has a stage assistant.
Fair enough. I suppose it would be inappropriate for an assistant to know all the secrets, so I'll do as you said. Continue on my way with these merry folk.
Of course. And you drift back into sleep. Jed, unfortunately, Mazarendael strikes again.
Again.
Dun,
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 Two in
dun.
one day?
A
You
twofer.
feel the heat once again, and a memory comes to the front of your head. It's the first time you saw Chauncey in school,
Aw.
laying on the ground, crying tears of blood, as Virgil and his friends are kicking him repeatedly.
Aw.
And you watch as Virgil picks up a very delicate and beautiful looking doll with a porcelain face, and gripping it by the legs, smashes its face onto a nearby wall, shattering it. And the familiar rage bubbles up, boils over. You black out for a moment. You don't quite remember what happened afterwards. You just remember that you leapt into action to some degree. And since then, at least until the incident that you were now aware of, you two were fast friends. And when you wake up, you are not laying in your hammock, but instead you are standing. Virgil is fast asleep on the floor, but in one hand you are holding your bag, and in the other hand you are holding the spiral dagger that you pulled from the chamber deep underneath the mine back in Drake's Ridge. You can still kind of see the meld that Chauncey made, putting the two pieces back together after they were wrenched apart. And you still feel that familiar cold sweat as the cool air hits your skin once again, and you are left in that moment.
Oh, my heart.
I think Jed probably doesn't go back to bed.
I think at some point, you also hear a whisper of Mazarendael's voice. I mean, don't you think it'll bring you and Chauncey closer together? One more bad person from his past gone at your hand. Who wouldn't love someone like that? And that's all you
Damn.
hear.
All right.
And so unless anybody
making points out here.
Yeah, he's really pushing for this.
How many affection points is murder worth?
Yeah.
In the dating sim.
Yeah. Gotta be at least 5.
Comprehension.
Your approval rating has gone up.
God.
The
Chauncey
moral
will
rating
remember
has gone down.
that.
So unless anybody else has any pressing issues, we will fast forward to the
Question:
morning. Uh-huh.
does my rose buddy sleep?
Well, it is not fully grown yet, and while the magic is beginning to seep in and beginning to work on the rose bush, it is not fully grown, so it is not fully sentient.
Okay.
So it doesn't
mind.
really need to sleep, because rose bushes don't need to sleep.
Right.
Not until they're awakened.
I was just imagining while this is all going on, Rosebud is just sitting at the edge of the bed, just swinging its feet back and forth.
But it hasn't broken out of the pot yet. It still needs to fully grow.
Right.
So it's still in the pot.
I should note that Talipo and Lovey May don't sleep, so they just watched this.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I
like-
will say the only thing that they saw was Jedidiah get up in his sleep, like sleepwalking, pull up his bag, pull the knife out, and then suddenly look incredibly confused before promptly not going back to bed and possibly pacing around or sitting on the
Or he
hammock
went to
staring
the-
into
The front of the prow of the ship or something. He's having a Titanic moment up there.
Yeah, love it.
You watch him put the knife back in the bag and then just walk away. Will they find you there in the morning when the sun rises? Or, well, the sun rises?
I'll be there. Maybe eventually fell asleep or something, just laying down like against the.
Yeah. Yeah, so you all are woken by the sound of the sailors beginning their morning work of pulling the sails and turning the ship and other such cleaning duties and cooking duties and things like that. And you all wake up from your long rest. You do notice that there is a lot more sunlight that is streaming across the deck of the ship and into the windows. And off in the distance, you see, indeed, almost like a hole ripped in the sky where you see this huge tree. And Shaw, you would recognize this from your dream from quite a while back in the city of Mask. The great tree with the sun beaming down through its stained glass leaves. And floating all around are these rocks with some moss and grass and things like that on them. There's also the smell of mountain air, and the air is a little cooler than it was. Almost like winter slowly beginning to turn into spring, but not quite in spring just yet. It seems you are approaching the chunk of Isgard.
Velantrios is very much into this whole thing. He's like, if this was an anime, he would have stars in his eyes.
Oh, I would not be surprised. As you get closer, you do begin to see what appear to be sort of Viking ships with the striped sails beginning to sail across in the background, shields on the side. The tree takes up more and more of this landscape as this huge landmass begins to come into view that actually isn't one piece. It's a bunch of very, very, very large rocks connected by rickety wooden and rope bridges. And in the center of the closest one is a cluster of Viking-style buildings where the roofs go almost all the way to the ground, these A-frame sort of buildings with these wooden dragon heads coming off of the top. Plenty of multicolored tents and a huge dock where there's a few ships as the ship slowly begins to creak into port. And they begin to unload and let down the ladder as Toshiko comes around, and you all might want to go on shore and ask around to see if there's any people who can help with the root situation. We are going to try and get provisions, at least a few more, just to restock a little.
Thank you. Velantrios doesn't waste any time at all on getting off of that ship.
Yeah, as you bound off of the ship, you see there's a lot of rocky landscape, but there's plenty of low grasses, and there's also still snow that seems to be patchy and the beautiful, almost pure white. And it seems this place is quite inhabited. You see many people kind of wandering around. They have these furs on. Some of them carry shields and swords. In fact, most of them do. A lot of them are things like dwarves and elves and humans. You do occasionally see like a halfling or a gnome or a dragonborn, but they're kind of rare around here. But these people are just kind of milling around. And in the center of this almost encampment, it's not so much a village as it is an encampment, there is a big fire that is being used by this, what appears to be this boar person with this huge rack of ribs on a sort of wire rack that he is slathering with something as people are coming up and kind of looking and sniffing. And it seems to be this sort of hub. And that is what you see as you enter this village encampment, whatever it may be. What would you all like to do?
While we're leaving the ship, I would like to grab Jed for a second.
Yeah.
Jed, does this all look familiar to you?
This place? Oh, I
This
looked into your
dream.
head.
Yeah, I
I
showed
saw
you.
your dream. Yes.
Yeah.
So, yes, kind of picture perfect from your vision.
I have no idea still why I had that dream.
Well, I guess we're about to find out.
As you kind of walk closer, there's this, you notice out of the corner of your eye, there's something a lot more colorful than the rest of the world around you. It's usually the rest of the world seems to be these, save for the tree, is these sort of muted colors, the firs, the sun faded tents, the dark wood and the dark low grasses, contrasted with the lighter rocks and the white snow. It's this old woman selling candy. Her skin is purple and she has these short pair of horns as she kind of reaches out. Hello, dearies.
Ooh, don't trust it.
Would you like to try some of my candy?
Get out, some candy, get out.
Oh god! Oh god!
man.
Someone restrain him. Like,
Chauncey and Lovey May are both already one hand on each shoulder of Hayden.
He's just running in place.
Yeah. Yes, my candy is enchanted. It can make you sing like a bird, or make your eyes glow green, or make you hiccup bubbles, or even,
Right.
and then she looks directly at Shaw. Experience the love of a parent you haven't seen in a very long time. As she holds like a single small red, what appears to be a red gumball, looking directly at you.
I mean, wow.
Shaw literally just like.
Yeah, same with
Okay, guys. All right, just
just
from a person who has experience with other planar entities and manipulating people, lady, you are coming on so hot. You're laying it on so thick. Like,
Chauncey's
who are you and
goggles
what
are
is your
down.
deal?
I'm gonna detect magic these fucking candies while this goes on.
Yeah, you detect magic. A lot of it is illusion magic. Except for the small jar of candy that she pulled the gumball from when she directly addressed Shaw. That has incredibly powerful transmutation magic on it. As well as a little bit of divination magic on it.
Huh.
I'm gonna subtle spell of detect thoughts on her.
And can I do insight into the candy?
Not on the candy itself, but you can at this point you would probably know this is a hag. This is straight up a hag.
Yeah.
She's
that
not
is
trying to
a-
disguise herself. So you can insight the hag.
Yeah, I'll do that. I got a 17.
She's just really excited about selling candy to someone who might enjoy the magical aspects of said candy.
Aww.
Detect thoughts. Who did detect thoughts?
Jed.
Hey.
Both of you. You all kind of get the surface level you all do get the surface level. She is kind of a little bit frustrated, and she's kind of, darn, he was going to be very easy to sell that to.
It's just you're just coming on so hot all at once. Like, what's your name?
Uh, you can call me Auntie Bramble Snag. And at this point, you hear,
All right.
Oi! You hear someone, this sort of feminine voice call out, Oi! They don't want your candy! Go away! As this Goliath woman comes up.
The candy?
Velantrios
don't
is
want it,
like, I wouldn't mind the parental love candy.
No, you don't want the candy. All of it's cursed.
Do
She-
people fall
Oh,
for
shoo!
that?
As she kind of slinks into the shadows. So
As Shaw's
many
literally
people.
falling for it.
This
As she kind of
is-
vanishes into the shadows.
It was just probably the most pathetic attempt I've ever seen at that. That was that was rough.
She tries that with everyone that gets
in-
off of boats, I swear.
In her defense, the amount of magic in the ones she tried feeding Shawthorn was like a piece of river rock versus a chunk of gold in quality. So he'd have gone somewhere. Apparently
Yeah,
it's
like
cursed,
you've
too.
seen things like it wasn't quite Holy Avenger level, but it's like definitely something that can probably cast a 5th level spell level of it's like a wand of fireballs level of magic. Like
Right.
that's a lot of magic.
Like, there was more concentrated magic in that gumball than anyone else here can probably produce at one time. Just saying.
Well,
Okay.
hi. What's your name?
Hello. My name is Kiga, Ruthfinder Kiga. I assume you're here for either
I point at the big root.
it was either that or big game hunting.
We're not much of hunters. Well,
I
you saw the
figure.
exact person that we're looking for. I'm Jed. To my friends. Say hi,
Hey,
friends. He's
Hi.
not normally a
Hello.
child.
At
mean,
this
these
point, you
days,
would also
honestly.
notice walking out from behind this Goliath woman is a lynx. It is bigger than a normal lynx, and it is also purple and lavender and slightly see-through.
Interesting.
As it just
Can I do a nature check?
sure, you can do a nature check.
Nature check. That is going to be a 13.
It was probably a lynx that came into contact with some sort of fey realm, kind of like the dolphin delighters that you all experienced earlier. This was just a side effect of it encountering the Feywild, probably. You don't know much more about it, like you wouldn't know any of its powers or anything that would just a lynx that's encountered the Feywild.
So beautiful.
Zephyr was quite the find. But he sticks by my side. And we get the job done. Well,
Right.
if you're looking for a route, I can help you. But I gotta gather a few things. So maybe about an hour, maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe 2.
We'll be here. I think our crew is restocking anyways, so
That makes sense. Well, there's plenty to do around here. Lots of sights. So I trust you won't be taking any interesting deals anytime soon. She says, kind of gesturing over towards the area that Auntie Bramble Snag kind of vanished from.
we are just so full up on deals right now, I think.
Aye,
So true.
Yes.
it's good.
Is there a market somewhere in town?
You're standing in it.
Oh,
She says, kind of gesturing outward.
Is she the
And
only person here?
No, there's tons of people. She gestures
Okay, I was gonna, we've
towards...
always met her, so it's just like
There's a bunch of people milling around. She gestures over. There's our blacksmith, and there's Wandering gardener. Don't know why she's here. And then over there's a stone giant who makes dreams, literally makes them. Strange one. There's a dragon too. He's always good to talk to. I'm sure there's a few other interesting folk around here that you could talk to, pass the time.
Okay. What I think Velantrios would go to the wandering gardener.
I see. Somebody's keen. Well, we'll meet you back here in about 2 hours. Then we'll find your route. Deal?
Deal. Now I've got to get my eyes on that dragon. And get your hands off me.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
one of our
Right.
Same height. We didn't notice. Sorry.
miracle.
Chauncey had
Lyla
given up
was-
Aiden's shoulder at that point. It's still Lovely May is unfazed by shape shifting at this point.
It's a miracle we only knew Lyla for so long.
I think maybe a crisis of identity. I
Right. I guess we'll take a round and
Sometimes.
we'll find you in an hour or so.
I mean, there's a
All right.
there's-
And that is where we are going to end this week's episode. So join us next week as they make their rounds around this strange little encampment and see what they can find and hopefully make their way back to Ponderosa. So I will see you all next week, and I will see the rest of you in about 5 minutes.